Hi pilots, welcome to my review video of the brand new Goosky S2 Max helicopter, a high performance 3D helicopter and a brand new release from Goosky. In this video we will unbox the helicopter and then we will make a quick comparison to the old version, Goosky S2 Legend. We will take a look and compare it and see what are the main differences and upgrades of the brand new Goosky S2 Max compared to the old version. One of the advantages of the S2 Max is that it's using now a brand new flight controller, and this new flight controller has an option to use an ELRS based receivers. And when you are using ELRS receiver with this helicopter, you are able to get a full telemetry out. So, after the unboxing and quick comparison, we will make a full Radio Master TX16S EdgeTX radio setup for this helicopter, using a Radio Master RX RP1V2 receiver that is ELRS receiver, and this receiver will allow us to get full telemetry out of this helicopter. Before we continue, I would like to thank Engine DIY for sending me this helicopter for a review. Now, as you can see, this helicopter that I got is a ready-to-fly version. That means that I got not only the helicopter for a review, but I also got a T8 radio from Goosky. This radio uses a Futaba SFHSS protocol. This radio does the job well, but because I have a Radio Master TX16S, of course I will use Radio Master TX16S for flying this helicopter because it's so much better. But as I said, this radio does the job. I have already used this radio because actually this is my second S2 Max helicopter, and I have already flown my first S2 Max helicopter using the T8 radio. This radio comes with built-in battery. Not built-in, but it comes with a lithium-ion battery, sized 18650 with a capacity of 2800 mAh. You can charge this battery using a USB Type-C connector here. You turn the radio on by pressing these two buttons at once. We can see that this radio is mode 2. That means that the collective stick is at the left side. We have some switches here. One is for throttle cut, one is for changing the flight modes. Then we have another one for dual rates, and that's pretty much it. Next we have the helicopter, the main thing. Okay, so here it is. I got the blue version. It looks nice. So, what we have here. Here is the quick start guide. Here the radio is explained, all the buttons and switches on the radio. Here are all the ports explained on the flight controller, and all the LED indicator lights are explained. Here we have a QR code for downloading the app for the phone and the manual for the helicopter. In the box we also get some stickers. Here is the Bluetooth module that we will install later on the flight controller. This Bluetooth module allows us to connect our smartphone to the flight controller via Bluetooth. And this is so convenient to use a phone app to control all the parameters on the flight controller. Next, we have some spare parts, some zip ties, in the ready-to-fly version, we also get USB Type-C based charger with a maximum power of 25 watts. Here we can select the charging current from 1 amp up to 2 amps. Okay. Next we have a flight battery. The flight battery is a 3S LiPo with a capacity of 750 mAh. It says that is 45C of discharge rating. XT30 connector. And the helicopter itself. Okay. So there's a lot of things on this new Max helicopter that is new compared to the old version. So let's see. If we take a look at the landing skids, we can see that on the old Goosky S2 Legend they are quite flexible. On the new Goosky S2 Max they are not as flexible as on the old version. The tail boom on the S2 Max looks identical as on the old version. The tail rotor on the new version is stiffer than on the old version. And because I already flew my first Goosky S2 Max helicopter, I can say that because this tail rotor on the newer version is more rigid, it's also more quiet than on the old version. On this Goosky S2 Legend, the tail rotor, as you may know, is quite noisy. I'm happy to say that on the newer version it's not as noisy. What's new also? The main rotor blades are also new. They claim that these main rotor blades are better performance-wise. I'm not good enough pilot to notice any differences, but you know, I believe them. And the canopy design is also different on the S2 Max. On the old version we get this shark mouth canopy that I honestly really like because it's so convenient, especially if you are using this 3D printed upgrade part. It's so convenient to change the battery flight after flight, you see. Just put the new battery in, connect, close, and the helicopter is ready. So this is a really great design in my opinion. On the newer version you don't get this type of canopy. On the newer version the canopy is always open on the front. Now you put the battery in like this. it's a crash fit, and you connect it like this. It's simple. Now the batteries are of the same size as the old version of batteries, but so that means that you can use the old batteries from the Goosky S2 Legend on the new one as well, but they changed the, you can, if you look closely, the new battery has a plus cable, a plus wire on the right side. The old version has the plus wire on the left side. That means that you cannot put the old battery in the helicopter oriented the same way as the new one. The new one, the wires have to be upside, and then you connect the connector like this. When you are putting in the old version, the old batteries, that fits inside just as well as the new one, but you cannot put these old batteries like this. You have to put it in like this, oriented in this orientation, and then you can connect it, you see. But it's a good thing that even on the new version you can use the old batteries. You can also use the batteries that come with the OMP M2 Evo series of helicopters. They also fit nicely, you see. And you can also use a Gens Ace 3S60C 750 batteries as well. These batteries, you can use them by placing in the battery sideways, you see. So there's a lot of different batteries that you can use on the new S2 Max helicopter, and that's a good thing. Now, how to charge the batteries? You simply connect the power supply using USB Type-C connector into the charger, and then you connect the battery balancing plug into the charger, and then you can select the amperage for charging, you know, from 1 amp to 2 amps. Okay, so the main motor is also new on the S2 Max. They say that it's stronger, but even the motor on the old version is ridiculously strong, so the power is insane on this helicopter. Let's take the canopy off. So this is the new canopy. It looks quite nice. So if we compare the old and the new S2 helicopter, we can see that the new S2 Max design is much simpler when we look at the frame. On the old version we have all these screws here and carbon fiber side plates. On the newer version the part count on the frame was lowered significantly. That means that maintenance of the new S2 Max helicopter will be much easier compared to the old version. This lower part of the frame is now plastic carbon composite material, not full carbon. They say that the new BAC, that is battery eliminating circuit, was now upgraded from 5 volts to 7.4 volts. That means that all the servos now are running at higher voltage. Higher voltage usually means higher performance, okay? This is the newest flight controller now. And we can see here at the side that the ESC at the bottom and the flight controller at the upper side are now two separate entities. The flight controller and the ESC are both connected through these wires here. At the right side, we have this connector from the ESC that connects ESC and tail motor. Now, the wires for the tail motor and the main motor as well are not soldered directly to the ESC, but rather they are now using this connector. This means that maintenance is much easier now compared to the old version. Because you see, it's so simple to just disconnect the connector and you have free wires for the motor. Okay, that's quite a nice upgrade. Here we can see all the connections for different type of receivers. Here you can see we have a connector for the SBS type receivers. At the middle we have a connector for DSMX type of satellite receivers for spectrum radios, and down here we have a ELRS 4-port crossfire type of connector for ELRS type receivers. We have a 4-pin connection here for the Bluetooth module that we will install it later, and then we have some more ports here for different functions that may come in the future. We will see. On the new version we have also all metal rotor head. Everything is of high quality. I'm talking from experience, because you see, my old S2 Legend helicopter has now more than 1,000 flights behind it, and look, it's still just as new. All that I have changed during the past few years is one tail fin that I broke, and I changed, I think, one tail rotor. Everything else is still stock. Okay, so as you can see, this is a really reliable helicopter, and I believe, I don't doubt that this one will be just as reliable as this one. So as I said, this is my second S2 Max helicopter. I already have flown my first S2 Max helicopter up for about, I don't know, 15 times now. And I can already say that the new S2 Max helicopter flies much better than the old version. The old version is really good helicopter, but this one is so much better, mainly because of the new flight controller. This flight controller makes this helicopter fly way more precisely, and and it's less noisy. The tail rotor is a bit less noisy than the old one. Okay guys, so now what we are going to do, first we will install the Bluetooth module. Okay, so let's install this Bluetooth module. This Bluetooth module has 4-pin connector. You have to install this 4-pin connector into this port here, which says BT. Okay. Okay. Now, Bluetooth module is connected to the flight controller. We just have to attach it somewhere. Let's attach it here with some double-sided tape. Okay, so here is a piece of double-sided tape. Okay, double-sided tape is on the Bluetooth module now, and we will just attach the module like this. Okay, so the Bluetooth module is attached and connected to the flight controller. Next, I will show you how to connect Radiomaster RP1B2 ELRS receiver to the flight controller. To be able to connect this receiver to the flight controller, we need Crossfire 4-pin connector soldered to this receiver, because that's the connection used for ELRS type receivers. After that, we will install that receiver on the flight controller. Okay. So here we have Radiomaster RP1B2 receiver with a Crossfire 4-pin connector on this side. Now we have to connect this receiver to the flight controller. Let's do this. Okay. The receiver is connected to the flight controller. We just have to secure the receiver and the antenna now. Okay, so I think that I will mount the receiver on the side of the flight controller and secure the antenna with the zip tie in this location. Let's try that. Okay, like this. Now I will use a zip tie, a small zip tie that is provided in the kit, and we will mount the antenna like this. Now, you may think that this position for the antenna is not good because the antenna should be faced vertically, but because this is a 3D helicopter that is constantly changing its direction during flight, the position of the antenna is not that important. And you know, this is an ELRS type of receiver. ELRS type of receivers have an ultra strong connection, ultra reliable and strong connection. So the fact that this antenna is mounted horizontally is not going to be an issue at all. I have to carefully cut this like this, and this is it. On this side we have a Bluetooth module installed, and on this side we have Radiomaster RP1B2 receiver, and here is the antenna. Of course, I could also use, I think it's called Radiomaster RP2 receiver that doesn't use this type of antenna. It uses a small ceramic antenna That would be much easier to install, but I don't have that receiver at the moment, so I'm using this one. So at this point we will continue with the Radio Master TX16S EdgeTX setup for this helicopter. But before we do that, we have to remove the two main blades from the main rotor, because we have to be safe. When you are setting up your helicopter, your radio for the helicopter, you always have to remove the blades and the tail rotor from your helicopter, because if something goes wrong, it can be really dangerous. Guys, I know this video will be long, but I usually don't make this type of videos that are so long, but hey, I get questions, and a lot of pilots are asking me to make a radio setup video for different type of helicopters. So on this helicopter I decided that I will make one, and here it is. Okay pilots, now our Goosky S2 Max has an ELRS receiver wired up, so we are ready to start programming our TX16S radio. We will select model, select new model, blank model. Okay, now we can go to model settings, name our helicopter, S2 Max ELRS. We will label it helicopters, maybe favorites also. Model image, I have already uploaded an image for my S2 Max. Next we will go to external module, because this radio is primarily 4-in-1 radio with a built-in multi-protocol module. So I have an ELRS module mounted externally, so I have to choose external RF, crossfire, we can set the timer at this point, on, switch. This is throttle cut switch. When throttle cut switch will be off, that is when SF switch will be in up position, timer 1 will start counting. Down from, let's say, 4 minutes. I usually choose minute calls, and count down voice for the last 10 seconds. This is how I'm going to set my timer for this helicopter. Next, we can set up widgets. Here I will put model info, that is picture of the Goosky S2 Max. Here I'm going to put timer 1, okay, and here I'm going to put outputs. This is how I usually do this, but you can do it however you like it. Next, I will go here, set up this widget here, and here I'm going to choose value, and the value showed here in my case is usually voltage of the radio's battery. So I'm going to choose here that. We can change the color, shadow. Okay, so if I go back, you can see my main screen here is showing the battery voltage of the radio, inputs, helicopter's picture, and timer 1. But usually I want to have a second main view. So I will add it here and change it to full screen. Okay, now I will set up this and put outputs here as well. So here at the second main screen, I will have all the channels shown. Okay. What can we do next? We can bind our helicopter to this radio. To do that, we will go to System, Express ELRS, okay. We will go down, TX power. In my case, I have found that 50 milliwatts using ELRS protocol is enough for such a small model. And dynamic power has to be off. We will go down to bind now. We won't click on bind now. We will have to firstly prepare the ELRS receiver for binding. To get an ELRS receiver into bind mode, we have to quickly power on and off the receiver. We'll do that by powering off the whole helicopter 3 times quickly. Okay, now the receiver is in its binding mode. So we can, at this point, click on this bind. Okay, you see, the helicopter is responding to our inputs now. What can we do next? To be safe, we can go to special functions here, and because channel 3 on this helicopter controls throttle, so we will set up throttle cut in special functions. We will click on special function 1 once again, and now we will toggle the SF switch into its up position. We will, you see, when I toggle this switch upwards, I have to confirm this, and the function has to be override channel 3, that is override throttle to -100, okay, and enable it. So whenever SF switch is at this position, motor won't start, okay. If the SF switch will be in its down position, the helicopter will be able to start its motors. Okay, you see? Motors are running. When SF switch is in this position, the throttle cut is on and the motor won't start. So what we can also set voices for our switches. We do that in special functions also. Let's do this for a throttle cut switch. So we have to go down to SF special function 2. Switch again, we have to toggle it upwards. Select it. Go down. Function has now to be play track. Play track, and we have to choose throttle cut. Throttle cut, you see?
Throttle cut. Throttle cut.
When the throttle cut is activated, motor won't start. When it's off, motors will start. Okay. At this point, we can go to model settings again and choose telemetry. Okay, and we'll click on discover new sensors. All the sensors have been populated here. At this point, we can go down and choose altitude. You see, altitude. Here, we click on altitude and edit it, and we have to rename it, because actually this is not altitude, this is head speed of the main rotor. So head speed, we will change the unit to, we have to find RPM, revolutions per minute. You see, head speed and revolutions per minute as a unit. Let's start our motors, and we will check here, place 13 HS, if this value goes up. You see, this is now head speed shown here. See, head speed at 100% is 6,550 RPMs per minute. Here we can also see capacity and battery percentage is shown, battery voltage, current, and some other values. Now, what can we do at this point? We can set up voices for all the switches that we are going to use for this helicopter. So let's do this at this point. We will go to model settings and to special functions again. Special function 3. We will click on it and toggle this switch, SB switch, into this position towards me fully. Select it. And this switch will be used for flight modes. At this position, it will be 6G mode. At these two positions will be acro mode. Okay, so let's set up the voices for this. So first we will set up voice for this position. At this position we will have 6G mode. So we have to go to play track. I think there's no 6G mode here as voices, so I will name it angle mode. angle mode.
Angle mode.
You see?
Angle mode.
At this position, the helicopter will fly in angle mode. In these other two positions, we will have acro mode. So we have to go here, toggle the switch into its center position, confirm. We will go from override to play track, and we will select acro mode.
Angle mode. Acro mode.
And in this position, we will also have acro mode. So we have to go to the SB switch at this position, confirm, play track, select acro mode again. Okay, now we have to have angle mode in this position, you see,
Angle mode.
and acro mode in the other two positions.
Acro mode. Acro mode.
Okay. Next, special function 6. SC switch will be used for flight mode 1, flight mode 2, and flight mode 3. That will change the head speed of the helicopter. So I have to toggle the switch, let's say in this position first, confirm. This will be flight mode 1. So play track and select FM1. FM1, you see?
Flight mode 1.
And we have to do the same thing for the other two flight modes. We will set the switch here at its center position, confirm, play track, FM2.
Flight mode 1. Flight mode 2.
We have to set up flight mode 3 now. Play track, FM3, so
Flight mode 1. Flight mode 2. Flight mode 3.
it works. This switch, SH switch, I'm using this momentary switch for rescue. So when SH switch is at this position, the helicopter will always be in 6G mode. So I will choose this switch at this position, confirm it. Play sound. Okay. And we will set the rescue mode later on. At this point, we can set up telemetry screen. We will click here. Third main view, add main view. We will click and select this option, 2x3. Okay, we can set up widgets here, and we can go to value. We will select, let's say, head speed. We can have head speed here. We can change color to, let's say, red. We can add a shadow, and here we will have head speed. Okay. Next we can select the other one, value. We can have here RX battery voltage. That's actually flight battery voltage. And so on. Value. We can also we can choose current. We can choose current at the moment or maximum current during the whole flight. Let's choose at this point current. Okay, I won't go further and showing you setting up the other screens because you know how to do it now. We won't waste our time here with this. So to get to this screen, you can see, here we can see battery voltage of the flight battery pack, current and head speed. So let's see if this changes. So you can see head speed is increasing, current is increasing, and flight battery is not changing much because there are no blades currently on the helicopter. Okay.
Throttle cut.
There's something else I usually do. I usually set up SA switch as a secondary throttle cut switch to be more safe. So what I do is I go to model settings, special function. I use SA switch at this position towards me fully, select it, override channel 3 again, that is throttle, to -100 and enable it. So if I accidentally hit throttle cut off, the motor won't start. The motor starts only
Throttle cut.
if SA switch is at this position, throttle cut is off, and only then the helicopter will start.
Throttle cut.
I usually set up voice for SA switch for a secondary throttle cut as motor disarmed. Okay, so play track and motor disarm. You don't have to do this, but I usually do that on my more powerful helicopters to be more safe. No, engine disarm. Engine disarm. Okay, so let's see.
Engine disabled.
Engine disabled. Okay. So we have
Throttle cut. Engine
an
disabled.
engine disabled. What can we do next? At this point, we can check if servers are responding correctly to our inputs. If I go forward, the swash plate tilts forward, that's okay. If I go to the left, the swash plate tilts to the left, you see, and to the right, that's okay. But we don't have any swash plate movements in collective, you see. We will have to set up this. Let's first set up our curves, that is pitch curves and throttle curves. Okay, we'll go to model settings, curves, you see, and we will set up throttle curve 1 first. To be faster in setting up, we will choose 2 points. We will go down and our first throttle curve will be at 20%. Flat. We can name this throttle curve T1. Okay. T1. Next we will set up throttle curve number 2. So T2. Okay. And this curve will also be just 2 points, and the value will be 26. So a little bit higher head speed than T1. And we will also have throttle curve number 3. T3. Okay. 2 points. And the value will be here 40. Okay, we have 3 throttle curves now. 1, 2, 3. We also need pitch curves. So we'll name this P1. We will also have here just 2 points because it's enough. P1 will actually, we will have 3 pitch curves, but in my case I set up all 3 pitch curves to the same value, and in my case that's minus 80 to plus 80. That's around plus minus 11.5 degrees of pitch. So P1, P2, will have the same values for start. You will be able to change these values after a few flights if you will see the need for this. P3, pitch curve number 3, 2 points, minus 80 to plus 80. Okay, we now have 3 pitch curves and 3 throttle curves. Okay. Now we will go to model settings again and to inputs. At this stage we will add another channel. This will be, I don't even name it usually. Source for this will be SB switch, because channel 5 is for changing from acro mode to 6G mode and vice versa. Okay. Channel 6, we will add channel 6 now, and as a source we will move left stick to throttle, confirm, and now we have channel 6 controlled by the left stick. Okay. Now we will go into mixes. We'll go to channel 5. We will actually have to edit channel 5. And the source is SB.
Acro mode. Angle
You
mode.
see?
Acro mode. Angle mode. Acro mode. Angle mode. Acro mode.
And that's it. When we choose from, you see, if you watch, this is acro mode. This position is also acro mode.
Acro mode. Acro mode.
But when I switch the SB switch towards me fully, it goes into angle mode, you see?
Acro mode. Angle mode. Acro
So the helicopter does what the switch voices tells us. Acro mode, and angle mode. Okay. So we have this done. Next we will go to and add channel 6. You see? Now we have pitch. But this is still not working as we want it to, because at this point we have to go to curve, select custom, and we have to choose P1, pitch curve number 1. And now you can see here that this value, when I go from fully down to fully up, it goes from -80 to +80, just as we have set it in pitch curve 1. Okay, now you see, because we will have 3 flight modes: flight mode 1, flight mode 2, and flight mode 3. We have to copy this channel 6 for pitch 2 times. We have to select copy and click on it again and paste after. We have to click on it again, copy it again, and paste after. Now we have 3 pitch curves settings. We click on first one, edit, and now we have to go down to switch. Click on it and toggle this switch to this position, fully towards this direction, confirm, and that will be pitch curve 1 for this. We will go down, edit, switch, and select the middle position for the SC switch.
Flight mode 2.
We have to check here and select P2. We will go to the third one, edit, switch this position
Flight mode 3.
for flight mode 3 and click P3. Okay.
Flight mode 1.
Next, what we have to do, we have to go to the channel 3. Click on it, copy, click on it, paste after, and do that again. Click on it, copy, click on it, paste after. We have 3 options here, so we will choose the first one now and edit it. Source is throttle, that's okay. Switch has to be
Flight mode 2.
flight mode 1.
Flight mode 1.
At flight mode 1 we have to confirm, and curve has to be custom, and here we have to select T1, throttle 1. T1, you see? And what that means is that when T1 will be when the SC switch will be at this position, the throttle curve number 1 will be on. Okay, we have to do similar setup for flight mode 2, so we have to click on it, move this switch to flight mode 2,
Flight mode 2.
confirm, select curve, custom, and at this point the curve has to be throttle 2. Okay, and we'll go back and set up the third one, edit, switch in flight mode 3 position,
Flight mode 3.
confirm, custom curve, T3. Okay, let's check this. So if you see channel 3 is for throttle, I hope you can see this. And channel 3 at this moment, because throttle cut and motor disarm is on, is at -100, just like it should be. But when we arm the motor and throttle cut is off, the motor goes to 40% in flight mode 3. In flight mode 2 it goes to 26%, you see. And in flight mode, when I select flight mode 1, it goes to 20%. We can also check head speed in RPMs. In flight mode 1 the head speed will be at 4,850 RPMs. In flight mode 2 the head speed will be 5,200 RPMs approximately. In flight mode 3 the head speed will be at around 5,900 RPMs. And throttle cut, you see, everything works as it should at this point. We also have pitch curve, plus minus, at all flight modes.
Flight mode 1.
And the proper swash plate movements for elevator and aileron. Okay. What can we do at this point? As I said before, I use SH switch for rescue, for a simple rescue. What that means in my case, when I switch this SH switch in this position, the helicopter goes from 3D mode to 6G mode. So let's set up this. We have to go to model settings, we have to go to special functions. In our case, special function 12. We have to click on switch, toggle the SH switch up, select, override channel 5. I think that it should be at 100% enable. Let's check this. So now, let's say we fly in acro mode. You see, in acro mode, the channel 5 is at -100%. But when I hit emergency switch, SH switch, rescue switch, the channel 5 goes to 100%. You see? And automatically the helicopter goes into 6G mode for the time that this SH switch is in up position. Another thing that I usually set up, and it's really good to have it, is that when you hit throttle cut switch on, the helicopter automatically goes into 6G mode always. Why is this important? Because let's say you fly your helicopter
Engine disabled.
and then you hit, you lose orientation during flight, okay? You fly your helicopter, then you get totally lost, and you decide that you will hit throttle cut during flight and the motor will stop running, okay?
Throttle cut.
What you want is that when you hit throttle cut during flight, the helicopter goes automatically in 6G mode always. Why is this useful? Because that will enable the helicopter to crash land horizontally, not in this position, but it will crash level to its skids, you know, and this will significantly reduce the potential damage to the helicopter. So let's set up this. So throttle cut is engaged when the SF switch is at this position.
Throttle cut.
And we want that when we hit SF switch at this position,
Throttle cut.
the helicopter will go automatically into 6G mode. So we have to go to model settings, special functions, add an additional special function. Switch will be at this position, confirm, okay. Override function, yes, this is right, but we have to choose channel 5, and channel 5 has to go to 100% because 100% means 6G mode enabled. You also have to enable this switch, otherwise it won't work. So let's try this if it works. So let's fly. Let's say that we fly
Angle mode. Acro.
in acro mode. Okay. Throttle cut off. So let's say we are flying now our helicopter, and you see, when I will hit throttle cut,
Throttle cut.
the helicopter automatically goes into 6G mode. Throttle cut off, throttle cut on. You see the swash plate? You can see when watching the swash plate, when I go from motor on, and when I hit throttle cut, it will automatically go to 6G mode. You see? And this is how it should be, to be more safe. So, at this point, what we can do, at this point, we can check the movements of the swash plate again, if everything works as it should in all the flight modes. That means in flight mode 1, flight mode 2, and flight mode 3. So let's try the collective.
Flight mode 3.
The
Flight
collective
mode 2.
works the same in all flight modes because we have set it this way. The pitch curve is always the same, in our case, for all the 3 flight modes. Okay, this works okay. Next, we can check if we have 3 different head speed for the 3 different flight modes. So let's put throttle cut off. In flight mode 1, we have the lowest head speed. In flight mode 2, the head speed has to go up. You can hear that it goes up. In flight mode 3, the head speed has to go up even higher. It does, okay. This works. Throttle cut works. Swash plate movements. If I put the elevator stick forward, the swash plate goes forward. If I put it backwards, it goes backwards. Left, right also works okay. Now I can check the rudder also. If I move, if I move the rudder to the right side, the tail motor has to speed up. It does, you see, and it has to lower its speed if I move the stick left. It does. So this also works as it should. Next thing, I like to fly at a little bit of expo. So I will add 10% expo to the elevator, aileron and rudder. Let's do this. To do that, we have to go to mixer, channel 1 first. Channel 1 is aileron, edit, and we will add here curve expo. We will add a value of 10. You can change this value to your liking, but at the moment I decided to use 10% expo. For the aileron, for the elevator as well, let's add it for the elevator, expo, 10%. And for the rudder, that is channel 4, we will also add expo, 10%. Okay. And at this point, I think that we are ready to fly. Alright, I also have to show you timer 1 reset, how I program it. I use SA switch for timer reset. So to program that, you have to go to model settings, special functions, add another special function, switch SA at this position,
Engine disabled.
confirm, function reset, timer 1 and enable. So when SA switch is at this position,
Engine disabled.
when you stop flying, the timer, you see, timer goes when you are flying, and then when you land, you hit throttle cut,
Throttle cut.
timer stops counting, but to reset the timer, you have to disarm the motor as well,
Engine disabled.
or disable the engine, okay, and the timer is reset. I will put on all the blades, okay. So another thing that I have to say, you see, when you are tightening the screws for the main blades, they must not be over tightened at all, because if you will over tighten them, the helicopter won't fly as it should, because they should be, you know, the blades shouldn't be too loose, but they shouldn't be too tight as well. They should be, the screws should be tightened just so then when you jerk the helicopter, the blades move from their place a little. You see, they should move when you do this, but if they don't, the screws are over tightened. If they move too loosely, that's not okay as well. I will put now I will start the helicopter again. Throttle cut is on, engine. Okay. So look, when the left stick is in center position, the blade tips have to be touching itself, one another, you know. That means that the pitch is at 0, okay. When at this particular helicopter, when we have maximum pitch, the blades should be like this, and the distance at maximum pitch between the blade tips should be 80 millimeters, okay? 80 millimeters between this is the distance at maximum and minimum pitch, okay? That's approximately, I think that's 11.5 degrees of pitch. You can lower that value or increase it, but I fly at this degrees, okay? Pilots, I think that we are now all ready for the maiden flight with this helicopter. We just have to charge the battery and put the canopy on. So, pilots, I hope that this quite long Radio Master TX16S EdgeTX setup tutorial for the S2 Max was helpful, and I will see you at the field when we will do the maiden flight with this nice helicopter.